What is the gear needed to start level 4 PvP? Let's get into it. So last month I basically started a video. I made a video about what is the cost of building a level 4 character, and it came up to about 1.6 billion gold. And a lot of players, they see that price and got a little scared. They were like, damn, I don't have all that cash to start this zone. Now, what I tell everybody, if you don't have a billion to 2 billion gold to punch out straight away, it's okay. You could start, you could build your gear from scratch, work your way up piece by piece, no problem. So, firstly, we want to talk about weapons. Of course, the easiest thing to get is probably the weapons. It always have events dropping Dragon Fire and the Rust weapon. You want to get the Dragon Fire weapon, is the standard weapon that you want to get, or you want to get the Rust. Preferably, I would say, just get the Dragon Fire. The Rusk is situational. I like the Rusk if I do like 1v1s on warriors. For mage and rogues, they don't really use the Rusk with bow and the Rusk gun. A majority of level 4s all just run Dragon Fire, simply because of the fact it does overtime damage, which allows you to proc better with the Frostfire gems and the Hailstone gem basically. For those of you guys who don't know, the Hailstone gem is basically a gem that will basically freeze the player, and the Frostfire gem is basically a gem that will do burst damage when the player is frozen. So basically I want to be able to output as much hits as possible to be able to activate the Hailstone gem, hence activating the Frostfire gem to be able to kill your opponent the fastest way possible. Right, so you're starting off with the Dragon Fire. Is also one of the best because it has 3 slots, whereas the Rusk only has 2 slots for the gems, so you're getting 1 extra gem slot as well. So let me just show you guys my full setup here, which is my HP build. So so we have the, of course you want to have 10 out of 10 Frost Fires. Right now I'm running 8. I'm gonna get 10, but 8 to 10 works pretty fine to me. A lot of people say you need 10 out of 10, but to be honest, 80% chance of bursting damage on someone is still really good. You don't necessarily need full 100%, but yeah, you want to get 10 out of 10 Frost Fires. The gears you want to start off with. Now, let me tell you guys straight off, you don't need to have the best of the best when it comes to Helm and Armor. Some people obsessed with getting the Forager and the Supreme, but anything works. You could get a little Pandemic, which is hard to find though. You could get Hellish, you could get Living Dead. It have the Skeleton set, or it have these regular stupid ones that you could get in them golden chests and stuff. Now, this isn't that good, but let me show you guys the difference. This giving you 7 strength, 2 intelligence, 62 armor. Pandemic giving you 8 strength, 8 dex, 50 health, 1.3 damage. No, this looking like it a lot better, and it pretty is a lot better, but trust me when I say, guys, the difference between 50 damage, like 300 damage, and 350 damage is nothing at level 4, and that's why I like the zone. I like the zone because even though you have a max set, you could still lose to somebody with a mid set simply because they are able to proc better than you. They basically skillful. They're more skillful than you, and because of that they could proc better and kill you faster. It all comes down to your skill and RNG at that point. So you don't necessarily need to have the best of the best sets, but of course we know it always have those players that they like to have perfect best of the best sets, right? But yeah, you could use something simple. Once you have your full 10 Frostfire, you have your Hailstone gem, you're good. You started, right? You have your started setup right there. Then on the more expensive end now is where you want to slowly get your arcane items piece by piece. Now you could start off with the ring and amulet because those go for like 10 to 30 million each clean. So you could just buy these. You could start off with these and start getting your gems and socket it onto them as well. You could also get the mythic alloy ring, which has a chance to proc damage, but again, as I told you guys, the difference between 350 damage and 300 damage is literally nothing. So it doesn't really matter whether you get proc damage, extra damage on this ring. It's not like a crazy amount that's going to be game changing, of course, to win the game, because each match lasts like about a minute or less. That is how fast, you know, the turnaround times in fighting in level 4 PvP is. So you don't necessarily need to have the Allo ring. A lot of people switched over to the Mythic What simply because you're getting an extra slot for awakening, which makes it a lot easier to be able to get a better awakening, right? Then you want to get the artifacts. We recently got a brand new artifact, thank you devs, right, which gives you 3 damage and 3 primary stat, which is really good. But you could also use the older ones, which is basically 3 primary stat and 0.6 damage. Now the difference between the new one and the old one is literally only 2.4 damage, which equates to about 10 damage average. So it's nothing too crazy. You're not going to be 10 times better than the person with the old artifact compared to the new one. You're only getting like 10 extra damage. It's not going to be game changer. It's just literally for we goons and nerds who literally just want to have the best of the best gears, but you don't need to have it. And the difference is like one of these new artifacts cost like 5 to 10 million, and the old ones cost like 500k to 1 million. So you could start off with this and you could eventually upgrade into this one after. It's totally up to you, right? Then the most expensive piece that you want to get is the belt and the brace, which roughly goes to 150 million plus. If you're lucky, again, a brace for 100 million. But majority right now, until the events come back and more come back into the community, right now it's about 150 million. You're getting a brace for, and a belt is about 150 million to 300 million. You're getting it for. So start off with the weapon, then start off with the helm and the armor. Once you get the weapon, helm and armor, then you can move on to getting the ring, amulet, and artifact. So you're starting off with these 3 first, then you want to start off with these 3, and then finally you want to end off with these 2 at the bottom here. And that's about it. That is the order you want to be able to get your gears. As I told you guys, it have different versions of gears. It have the regular gears, as I told you guys, you could get in chests. You could get this in any lock chest. Any lock chest, instead of opening it on a level 91 character, you open it on a level 4 character. You could get one of these armors, right? You could get one of these helms, right? You could also look for these gears like Pandemic, Hellish, Living Dead, but these are discontinued items that you'll have to find old players or players who are already playing level 4 to be able to get these old items. But most of these other items are discontinued. The only item that is still continued right now is the Supreme Armor and the Forger, the Supreme Helm, sorry, and the Forger Armor, which you could get from these tokenized Ren Gold crates. If you actually check down here, you'll see them here. So we have the Supreme Helm, boom, you'll get at level 4. Supreme, the Forger Armor, boom, you get at level 4. Do bear in mind that you need to open these chests on the level you want the armor in, because the chest scales depending on the level. So if you're like level 91, you'll get like a level 46 version of this, because I believe the max level of the chest is 46. So you need to make a level 4 character, get these chests, open it on your level 4 character to be able to get the Forger Armor and the Supreme Helms. But these are the only armors right now that is top of the top that is continued. Most of the other good armors are discontinued, and you'll have to search around a lot for it. But again, as I say, you could look for these are pretty easy to find, or you could search around old players, ask old players if they have any of the discontinued items like the Living Dead set, Pestilent, Hellish, or even the Pandemic. But that's about it, guys. As I said, you start off with the weapon, helm, and armor, the ring, the amulet, artifact, and then finally you end off with the brace and the belt.